Alrighty, we basically only have 2 more methods to go. In the server, model, game, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write a post tick method underneath, where do I want to put this? How about underneath next round? I'm going to say post tick. Now the post tick function comes from our lib room, which happens after an action is executed, but before a diff is made. So in the post tick function, we can still modify our view, and it'll be picked up by the diff. Now what this function is going to be is it's basically the state machine of the game. So it's going to see what step we're in, and if the conditions to move to a next step are met. And I'm consolidating all of this state change into a single function in order to make this code a lot easier to understand. And the reason is there's a bunch of stuff where we would have to add additional checks into select stack and add card to stack to destroy or create the game based off of some criteria, if all the players leave, for example. And I wanted to consolidate it all into one method, into one state machine, so that you can take a look at this one method and see how all the steps fit into each other and how things get transitioned. And this also ensures that the game should never be in an invalid state. So let's get started. I'm first going to say, if not, this is disposed, and this step is not a step wait, and this step does not equal a step startup, or a step setup. So if we're currently playing the game, I'm first going to say, if this.players.length is smaller than minimum players, then I'm going to say this underscore transition step, a wait game over, followed by a wait reason too few players. Then I'm going to say, else if not this players includes this round czar, then this transition step a dot wait round over a wait reason czar left. So if the czar leaves, we want to transition to the game round over step. Notice I'm using this transition step method, which we haven't written yet. Then I'm going to say else if underscore dot keys this round stacks dot length equals 0, then this transition step a wait round over a dot wait reason too few players. So if there's not enough players, if there are more players in the game that are required to be there to keep the game still running, but for whatever reason certain players left and the stacks have been all cleared out and there's no stacks, there's nothing to click on, then go ahead and move on to the next round. Then I'm going to say else if this step is a step choose whites and this round are all stacks finished, then this round reveal stacks followed by this step equals a dot step judge stack. So if everybody has played all the stacks, then go ahead and reveal them and move on to the next step. Then we say else if this dot step equals a step judge stacks and this dot round dot winning stack. This means we're on the judge stacks step and we've selected winner. Then this dot round winning stack dot player add points 1. Then I need to determine if this is the end of the game or not, if any player got to the score limit. So I'm going to say if underscore sum this player's p goes into p.score is greater or equal to this dot options dot score limit, then we'll say this dot transition step a wait game over a wait reason game finished. Otherwise, we'll get the next czar index by saying next czar index equals this dot players dot index of this round czar plus 1 modulus this dot players dot length. So go ahead and get the next czar by looking at the next player from the current czar, and then constrain it to be a number between 0 and the length of the players. Then this transition step, a wait round over, a wait reason round finished. And that's it. That's the entire state machine of this game. It's super straightforward, and having all of the state transitioning logic in one place just really makes it a lot more easier to figure out where things go and to ensure that all the invariants of the game continue to be met. Now, all the way outside of this big if statement, I'm going to say if this player's length is 0, then this dot dispose. And then that's it. So if everyone leaves, then just destroy the game. Now the final method of this course is going to be our transition step. Transition step is going to take in a type and a reason. So first of all, it's going to say ensure active. Then it's going to set the step to a step wait. Then it's going to set the timer to a timeout of 5 seconds, a type, and a reason. Then I'm going to say set timeout for 5 seconds. I'm going to say if this dot is disposed. If we got disposed while we were waiting to go to the next step, then simply early exit. Otherwise, tick. And inside this tick, we'll set the timer to null. And then I'm going to say if the type of the wait is a wait game over, I'm going to set this step equals a step setup, and this round is null. So that'll finish the game. Otherwise, else if type equals a wait round over, we'll say for let player of this dot players, we'll notify them that the round is over, so player dot on round end. And the final thing that we should do, or we need to do, the final line of code that we need to handle is simply starting the next round. So this next round, but we want to pass in a flag indicating if the previous round was canceled or not. And we can figure out if the round was canceled by passing in reason does not equal a wait reason round finished. So if the game didn't end normally, or if the round didn't end normally, set is canceled to true, which will return all the cards in the stacks to their players. And with that, I think we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and say player 1, let's create a game. Let's leave the game. Player 2, let's join that game. Now I want to see, so we have player 1's game with player 1 and player 2. If I close this tab, player 1 leaves. And if I close that tab, not only does player 2 leave, but the game gets destroyed and tells the lobby to refresh the view on that. So let's go ahead and do this again. Player 1 will create a game. Player 2 will join it. And I want to test something. I want to go into this game, and I want to log in while I'm in the game. So if I do player 3, I immediately get joined. And let's do one more screen. And this screen, I'm going to stay on the game, but I'm not going to log in. So now, let's go ahead and start the game. So let's go ahead and clear this out so we can watch all the actions as they get dispatched. So we'll go ahead and play a card. And as you see, we get a select card with a card ID of W-X1-42. Oh, it's my favorite number. Then we get a merge view on game, and what this does is it updates the player to is playing as false, and then it updates the round to adding a stack with a count of 1 and an ID of 2. Then we get another merge view for our view player. And this guy, his hand gets updated to where the card gets removed by it sending us this new order that doesn't include that card. And then the stack gets set to having this card. So that's why we can see the card here, but on all of the other screens, it's not visible. All right, let's play some more cards. Actually, this is the czar, so I can't. Now we have the czar. So all of these guys, the stacks are revealed finally, as you can see. And then for the czar, I can go ahead and click on that. And it says round over. It waits 5 seconds. It says this is the winner. And then it jumps off into this. Okay, it looks like we do have a bug because... Or no, we don't have a bug. It's just, for some reason, it didn't work right. But as you can see now, we have a stack with 2 cards. And it seems to be working just fine. Then we can select the winning stack. And we get a winner. And then in 5 seconds, we should move over to the next round. So it says round over the czar left. So it looks like there is a bug somewhere. So let's go ahead and figure out what happened there. So after we set the A step, blah blah blah. Let's see. Let's go ahead and just track this down. I'll do this on video. I'll track it down on video. I'm going to go ahead and pop open my debugger. And then I'm going to put a breakpoint right there on the tick inside of transition step. Let's go ahead and connect to Node. And then on my other screen, I'm going to go ahead and play through a round. And now we have to wait 5 seconds for this to actually go and do that. All right. So the type is wait round over, and the reason is round finished. So far, so good. Now, if the wait round over, then we go ahead and tell all of our players that the round ended, and then we do our next round. It seems that I messed up something here. Let's go ahead and... Yeah, I meant to break on this next round. So let me go ahead and do this again. Sorry, guys. Alright, so we should be hitting next round here any second. Oh, I think I hit the score limit. Wow, this is just not my day, is it? Alright, let's wait a couple more seconds. We should be hitting this breakpoint anytime soon. Sometime soon. Alright, so inside of next round... we ensure is active, and then we have the round. The round has a winning stack. And then we loop through all of that. We discard all the cards. And then the next czar index is 1. Player's length is 3. So the czar is not a number. Oh, wow. I am... you guys probably caught this one, too. The modulus operator should not be applied to the object. The modulus operator should be applied to the index. So what was happening is the czar was being set to not a number, which, I mean, I guess the czar isn't a number, so it's not wrong, but it's not the value that we're looking for. So then when in our post tick, when we go and we check to see if the czar exists, then we can't find it. So with that, should be able to complete a game now. All right. So let's go ahead and say start game. And I should be able to play. And it should send the czar down to the next player. And it does. So now I want to test one thing. When the czar gets to the end, it should go back up to the top. And it does. And then we should be able to send messages, which I don't think I tested this. But as you can see, messages are indeed sent. I also haven't tested the auto scroll yet, but it seems the auto scroll works just fine. And no, I think we're good. Yeah. So really, guys, that's it. Like, okay, so let's see what happens if I close out of this tab. It says game over. There are too few players, and then in 5 seconds, it should go back to the start screen, and it does. And if I try to start it, it'll give me an error saying too few players. So another feature you might want to consider adding is like a time limit. Or not time limit, a little like progress bar during the wait step that animates while you wait, basically. So that's one thing that you could add. But as you can see, 3 cards work just fine. Now, let's see what happens if I join a game that's in progress. If I join it, I don't get a hand yet. I don't think I will until the next round. But I'm also not in the game, so I'm not playing, meaning it's not going to mess up at all. So when I select that winner, then this new player should then get a hand. And he does get a hand. So with that, I think that about wraps things up. We have the client, we have the server, we have all of our game code. So let me scroll through the game class in its entirety for you guys who are sticking through it and typing everything out, which I highly, highly recommend you do, as I do with all of the courses I put together. But that's it. That's the core game logic, and there's really not a whole lot more to say. So with that, I think this concludes this section. We have a working server, a working client, and everything is fantastic. And we'll see you guys in the next video.